Hey everyone, welcome back to Bobini Creates. My name is Jeannie if you're new, and thank you for joining me for another whip day. Just to kind of get you up to speed here, we're working in Botanicum today, and the page that I've started and is currently a work in progress is this sort of Easter bunny picture with the crocus flowers. So what I did here is I have a base layer of Tombow on, a few of the bits here. And then I just barely started to go in with pencil, and you can see some shading in the ears and on the bow and little bits in the flowers. So we can work on that. And then the other thing is, if we have enough time, maybe work on the background. So let's go ahead and just dive in and see what feels right, and we'll go from there. I didn't really have a game plan. I just knew that I needed to work on this. And I will also say we still have my alternate lighting source going on here. I'm waiting for a replacement ring light, so that's in the works. So in the meantime, I've got kind of a fun little setup with the lights that I was able to mount over my desk here. So hopefully there's not too many shadows and whatnot. But so anyway, so Tombow on this flower, and then this is going in with violet just to sort of deepen it a bit. I'll do that, and I'll do a little bit up here. And you can see that just sort of helps a little bit with the shading, Let's see, and just going a little bit here and there. I really like starting off with a base layer. I don't always do it, but sometimes it's just a nice head start, and it helps kind of set the tone for the overall picture, in that it kind of gets rid of some of the white space, and it's just a good foundation. So I like to do that pretty often. Not always, but pretty often. So I hope you guys are doing good. Everybody doing good? Are you working on anything that you want to share in comments? I have been diving into some of my projects here. Oh, actually, you know what? Let me show you real quick. I finished the whip that we were working on last week in Hannah Carl's on Seasons. So I'll just show that to you real quick. So we were working on, shading the flowers, and trying to remember adding a little bit of gel pen. So I finished up, I did the bee here. You can hopefully see a little bit of glitz from my Tamnet gel pens. And then I did finish up those crystals that are not always my favorite to color, but I think they came out, and then added the white dots, Posca dots here and there that I was talking about, that I thought might just sort of enhance this a little bit. So I really enjoy the way that came out. I'm pretty pleased. So that's that. That was last week. So yeah. All right. So I put up a video a few days ago, which was my plans for March. And I had said, I'm not sure what I'm going to work on in here for the month of March. I showed some pictures that had my attention, but that I would like to attack, but I just was kind of leaving that open. But you know what I did? I've done pretty well. That was only a couple days ago. And I've already touched about half of those in one way or the other, just trying to kind of get a feel for what I might want to do. And of all the pages, the one that I was not sure I really wanted to tackle was the garden shed in one of the Teresa Goodridge books, and I can't remember the name of it right now. Country Gardens, maybe? I don't have it in front of me, but that one so far has been all pencil work, and I have spent the most time on that, and it was probably the one that I wanted to color the least, and I'm can't even tell you how much I'm enjoying it. It's, her books are, or that she does for Coloring Haven are, they can be pretty detailed, and I think that's what was kind of putting me off. But I went in there and just kind of started bit by bit, and I'll tell you what, I'm having a blast. So sometimes, for me anyway, it just takes laying down a little bit of color on the page just to sort of get started. And if I can start by adding that color and working it in a little bit, it makes it, it's more inviting for me. I'll say that, you know. Oopsie, got outside the line there a little bit. And it makes it less frightening because the page is no longer a clean, brand new page. So sometimes I like to just go in and do that, just add a little splash of color and then see where it takes me, you know. So that is going to be a one that I'm looking forward to finishing, and I'm getting really pretty close, you know. I think that's super pretty, you know. We've been fortunate enough to get quite a bit of rain in the last couple days. This morning I woke up to that, and you know, we don't always get we don't always get good rain. And so just hearing that this morning just made me want to just snuggle in my bed and not get out of bed and just enjoy the sound of the rain a little bit. So you guys could have got me with, you know, my flannel pajamas on, but I decided against it. So no pajama party this morning. But I sure was cozy there for a little bit. All right. I like the colors on this page. This paper is so nice to work on. So this is, of course, Maria Trolle. This is one of her older books. So I'm still trying to decide on the background, and I've kind of gone around and around with myself. I was thinking about a Neo Color 2 background with, you know, different shades of green. Almost like a bokeh background, but not quite. I don't know that I'm going to go for the circles. So that was one option. Then I also got out a bunch of gelatos, and I was looking at those. That's just kind of the process, and looking at those and trying to decide if I wanted to go that route would be probably a softer look. So that's an option. So, you know, I just have a few ideas, but nothing's concrete, and I kind of like it that way. That way I can just sort of see how things are going. All right, let's move on. Let's see. I'd be curious to know how long these bloom for, things like this. I've never really done bulbs in my yard, in my garden. I think in my mind, they seem like, at least here in my climate, I feel like they might take a little bit more work. Don't they have to go through like a freeze in order to bloom the next year, or a certain amount of cold before they bloom? And I'd just be afraid they wouldn't get that if I left the bulbs in the garden. So I've read, I mean, goodness sakes, it's been a long time since I've looked into it, but I want to think in my climate here, you have to kind of dig up the bulbs and refrigerate or maybe freeze. I don't recall. And I think whatever it was just a little bit off-putting. Now, they're gorgeous, I get that, but it just made me nervous, and it made me think that it was too much work. So about the most I've done with any type of a, well, not bulb, but a rhizome is the bearded irises, and I love those. Those are so pretty, and they grow well here. They bloom in April, and I think maybe some of them bloom again in August. I'm not sure. I know that you can divide them in August, so maybe they don't bloom then. It's been a long time since I've had those as well, but those are neat because they multiply, and you can get lots of little plants to either, you know, share with friends or plant around your garden, and they are a gorgeous flower. There was years and years ago, there was, I would be surprised if it's still around, but there was a farm here in my city that had bearded irises, and they had, you know, the rhizomes for sale. And that's initially when I bought them, and I had all different kinds of named varieties, and I really enjoyed those for a period of time. And then we moved. That was, gosh, that was like, we've owned this house for 24 years, so it was the house prior, and I left them there. There was a part of me that wanted to dig up the little rhizomes and bring them to the new house, but I didn't. And you know what? That's the joy of whoever buys the new home, is that they can, you know, they can look at what you've done and decide, is this something I want to keep, or do I need to do something different with the landscape? But if they did take them out, that would make me a little bit sad, because I would have loved them here. But that's okay. All right, so I think I'll stick with that. Let me just grab a little bit of a lighter color. Let's maybe go in with a, what is this? This lilac. I still have some of the original of the purple colors that have disappeared from Prismacolor. And I have the replacements in my arsenal as well. So I'm kind of set as far as those discontinued colors are concerned. It's kind of blending a little bit here. And I don't like to overblend, because I like the contrast. I just think it just adds some interest. All right. And then I think what I'll do is I'll add just a little bit of white here and there. So let me just finish up with this, and then I'll pull out that white Prismacolor. So do you guys have, first of all, do you celebrate Easter? And if you do, or if you do something different, Passover or what have you, how do you celebrate? Bear with me just a second. I'm going to grab a pencil extender out of my little There we go. My little glass over there. Sorry, didn't finish my sentence. Does need a little bit of sharpening though. Anyway, how do you celebrate? Okay, well, I am back, and as you can see, I've accomplished some things since the last clip. Sadly, that whole last portion didn't save. It wouldn't render for me, so I'm just going to give you a quick little recap of what we worked on, and you guys were amazing. You gave me all sorts of opinions on the background, whether you remember doing that or not. Seriously though, what I ended up using was gelatos for the background, and I just tried to have a nice little transition between a real yellow-green, you know, and then darker. And I'll probably end up deepening this a little bit as well. So we did that, and then we worked a little bit on the flowers, adding some white for some highlights, and a little bit on the ears, and really that was it. And then I just had technical difficulties. So hey, welcome to the life and times of a color tuber. And sometimes that just happens. So I worked on it for a long time, didn't work out, so I didn't want to leave it just cut off. So, you know, here I am, just kind of in closing to let you know what we did. And so moving forward, I think what I'll do is I'll kind of duplicate this over here, and then kind of fade it around here, and getting darker down on the bottom here I think will be a good look. I need to smooth out my leaves and also shade them along with the eggs in the basket, and work on the butterfly and, you know, some of the shading, you know, adding a little bit of fur to our bunny, and that's basically it. So just a quick little recap there, but thank you so much for joining me on this another Whip Day video. I had fun coloring, even though things didn't work out quite as, you know, as well as I had planned as far as the filming part of it. So we will see you on the next video, and thanks again. Take care. Bye now.